Terry Bollea didn't just wrestle in the ring, he wrestled with life, fame, family, and faith. Known across generations as Hulk Hogan, the man with the handlebar mustache, 24-inch pythons, and immortal charisma left more than just an entertainment legacy when he passed away on July 24, 2025. He left behind a story of glory, pain, redemption, and one final fight against the inevitable. Born in Augusta, Georgia in 1953, and raised in Tampa, Florida, Gene Bollea's early life was far from the electrifying stage of the WWE. He was a quiet, baseball-loving kid with a soft heart and an appetite for music. Few knew that before the world called him Hulk, Terry dreamed of being a rock star, not a wrestling icon. He played the bass guitar in various local bands, pouring his soul into strings, not steel chairs. But fate had other plans. In the late 1970s, fate came in the form of Jack and Gerald Briscoe, two pro wrestlers who spotted the 6 feet 7 inches mountain of a man lifting weights at a gym. They saw what the world hadn't yet seen: raw, marketable power. They introduced him to Hiro Matsuda, a feared wrestling trainer, and thus began the molding of Hulk Hogan. The training was brutal. On the very first day, Matsuda broke Hogan's leg to test his resolve. But Hogan returned, crawling his way through pain, and proving what he would go on to prove throughout his life: he was unbreakable. The 1980s were the years Hulk Hogan didn't just dominate wrestling, he became wrestling. With Vince McMahon's vision and Hogan's charisma, WWE, then WWF, skyrocketed. WrestleMania was born, and so was Hulkamania. Crowds exploded at his entrance, a blast of real American bravado. Kids tore their shirts off, mimicking the hero they saw in red and yellow. Adults admired his strength. Women cheered his energy. And whether it was slamming Andre the Giant or defeating evil foreign villains, Hulk Hogan became more than just a character. He was a symbol of American optimism, an embodiment of triumph. Yet beneath the immortal persona was a man struggling to keep up. As the 1990s rolled in, so did change. Hulk moved to WCW, where he reinvented himself as Hollywood Hogan, a villainous anti-hero who shocked the world by turning heel. Fans who once adored him now booed him, but he didn't mind. He knew it was time to evolve. And again he made history. The NWO, formed with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash, redefined wrestling's edgy attitude era. Terry Bollea, ever the chameleon, proved he could still drive ratings whether loved or hated. But off-screen the battles were far more personal, and far less scripted. Fame brought friction to his family. His high-profile divorce from Linda Hogan was a media circus. Their reality show Hogan Knows Best had offered glimpses into their lives, but when things fell apart, those glimpses turned into harsh spotlights. His son, Nick, was involved in a tragic car accident that left a friend critically injured. Lawsuits, media scrutiny, and emotional toll weighed heavily on the man behind the bandana. "I was drowning," he once admitted in a tearful interview. The Hulk Hogan people loved was smiling on stage, but Terry was broken in silence. In 2007, Hogan almost took his own life. He later credited a phone call from Layla Ali, daughter of Muhammad Ali, with pulling him back from the edge. That moment marked a turn. Terry Bollea found something deeper: faith, purpose, and a reason to keep living beyond the spotlight. The later years of his life were about restoration. He returned to WWE in various guest appearances, mentoring younger stars, giving speeches, and reminding the world why he mattered. He mended fences, reconnected with his children, and spent more time in church than under bright lights. His last few years were quiet but peaceful. He often posted messages of gratitude, sharing that every day he lived was a blessing. When news of his death broke on the morning of July 24, 2025, fans around the world were stunned. The cause? Cardiac arrest. The man who once declared himself immortal had finally left the ring for good. WWE issued a heartfelt statement saying, "There will never be another Hulk Hogan." He was the cornerstone of modern wrestling, a global ambassador, and a warrior of the people. Tributes poured in from wrestlers old and new. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson called him a legend who made legends. John Cena tweeted, "I owe my career to Hulk Hogan's trailblazing spirit." Even his longtime rival Ric Flair broke down in a radio interview saying, "He made me better. He made wrestling better. He made life better." But the most touching words came not from the industry, but from his family. His daughter Brooke shared, "You were my superhero not because you were strong but because you always called to check if I was okay, no matter what." His son Nick, in a quiet Instagram story, simply posted a picture of him as a boy sitting on his father's shoulders, captioned, "I'll carry your legacy now, Dad." His wife, Sky, with whom he had found renewed love and peace in his final decade, told reporters, "He lived in pain but never complained. He lived in fame but stayed humble. Terry wasn't just Hulk Hogan, he was my heart." In Clearwater, Florida, hundreds gathered at a private vigil on the beach. Candles lit the sand and chants of "Hogan, Hogan" echoed through the night. Fans played his entrance theme, "Real American," and held posters with quotes like, "What ya gonna do when the angels run wild on you?" For a man who made millions scream with joy, it was a surprisingly quiet goodbye. And yet, Terry Bollea's story doesn't end in death. It endures in every child who ever believed in heroes. In every adult who found courage through the voice of a man in yellow tights preaching vitamins and values. His influence stretches beyond wrestling. It lives in pop culture, sports entertainment, and even philosophy about self-belief and reinvention. He taught us that a man can fall and rise again. That the hero we cheer may also be the man who bleeds behind closed doors. That immortality isn't about never dying, it's about never being forgotten. So now, dear viewer, let me ask you, what did Hulk Hogan mean to you? Was he your childhood hero? The first wrestler you ever watched? Did he inspire your gym journey or your sense of justice? Drop your stories, your favorite matches, or even your Hulk Hogan impressions in the comments below. If you've ever said "brother" in a deep voice, this video is for you. And don't forget to like this tribute, subscribe for more legacies remembered, and ring that bell so you never miss a moment. Because though Hulk Hogan may be gone, the echo of Hulkamania will run wild forever.